Hi Aquarius, welcome to your June 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So the month of June begins with a Mercury retrograde in a fellow air sign of Gemini. This is a featured a sign for you because you have the sun there. You also have Venus coming from May in Gemini, which is your fifth house, Aquarius. And this is such a fun place to be. So even though Venus goes into Cancer on the 2nd of the month, very quickly as the month begins, you still have the sun there. You still in the fifth house. You still have Mercury retrograde in the fifth, by the way, can be hearing from an old lover and maybe kind of wondering, should you get back with someone? Now, the fifth house is encompassing love as a whole. So in other words, your experiences with love, your attitude towards love, the type of people that you might tend to be attracted to or find yourselves with. But so you look at the fifth house in your natal charts and see what kind of planets are there, if you have any planets there, because that can give you more information about your love nature, in addition to looking at your Venus sign itself and your moon sign, because your moon sign will be a general indicator of your emotional nature. I was going to say, or lack thereof, if you're if you have like a very detached moon sign. So anyway, with this, with the Sun and Mercury retrograde there, Venus just briefly there as the month begins. This is featured for you. Also, creativity is the fifth house and the business that you own. So any kind of, I don't know if you'd say like technological issues associated with your business, miscommunications, that kind of thing. Just remember that Mercury is a very fast-moving planet. On the 2nd, like I said, Venus goes into Cancer, and now we're talking about the 6th house, which is a stark contrast to the 5th house. It's about working versus playing. It's about your daily schedule, your time management, how you allot time for different activities during your day. And the activities, of course, some of them can be leisure, but the 6th house is about productivity. So that's the whole point of looking at this area. And even like your work schedule. So especially if you're in you have the kind of job where you have different hours sometimes. For instance, I used to work retail, and we would have all kinds of different hours, and I enjoyed that quite a bit because there was variety. And I think a lot of Aquarians, that's funny. I don't know if Aquarians would enjoy that, because I had a coworker who was a fixed sign like Aquarius, was a Scorpio, and wanted that 9 to 5 daily consistent type of schedule. And Aquarius, this is one of those quirks about Aquarius, is that even though you're ruled by a planet that is unpredictable, you seem to like certain things being predictable. But the other thing that, I think really what the main thing that the 6th house represents is your service to others. And that kind of thing can be very difficult sometimes, because sometimes we're good at something, but and it may even pay well, but we just don't feel like it's what we want to do anymore. And so there's like kind of a a little bit of confusion because we're always told, you utilize your talents, but it doesn't always work that way. So Venus in the 6th house can be about money matters, because Venus can bring money. You can attract money in whatever sector that Venus is in. Now, this could be a raise, I guess, something like that. You could have harmony with coworkers. That could be the 6th house too. On the 10th, there is this solar eclipse in Gemini. So the 5th house again, and 19 degrees of Gemini. So this area is being hit by the eclipses, and that could certainly bring new love opportunities your way in the coming months, and even creative opportunities or inspiration. That kind of thing could certainly be a part of that. On the 11th, Mars goes into Leo, and now we're talking about your opposite sign. So we're talking about the 7th house of committed partnership. But the 7th house is also the house of legal matters. So Mars here could be a legal fight. And so any Aquarians who are getting divorced, that could certainly show that this is going to be hot and heavy. And by the way, yeah, I have been saying this for this last series of videos about Mars going into certain houses, and how even though this is your chart and your influence, Aquarius, it doesn't have to be your reality in the sense that I'm presenting it. Because, okay, let's say that you're forced, well, I'm not going to say forced. Let's say you're getting divorced and the other person is very angry about it. If you initiated the divorce, or even if they did, because sometimes people initiate legal matters so that they can get that narcissistic supply. I've said this a lot recently, but I think it bears repeating that I read somewhere in a video, or saw a video about narcissism, and they said that the courtroom is the narcissist's playground. And as soon as I heard that, I just kind of, I felt that sense of deep resonance with that, because I think that people who need that extreme negative emotion, that would be right up their alley. And if they have any kind of justification, like a divorce, I could see them going full tilt. And you have the opportunity to stay above the fray. And they may try to trigger you. And the other thing, too, is that Mars is going into a fire sign. So it's like gasoline on the fire type of influence. And so it's so important not to get carried away, allow yourself to become too aggressive, but too into defending your own honor. Assertiveness is a totally different thing. And if you are in a situation where somebody's trying to degrade you or what have you, then, and it has to do with like a significant other, this may be the time that you rise to the occasion, because even Aquarians can find themselves in abusive relationships. As a matter of fact, if you check your inner planets, and I am speaking in this particular case about Sun and Aquarius people, who may have inner planets in Pisces in particular. So, for instance, Venus in Pisces, and you have this idea that it's your job to endure whatever somebody dishes out. That could be like a really foolish conclusion that you come to, because when you tolerate somebody else's abuse, you're actually enabling them to hurt themselves. You're not doing so maliciously, but if people give others the opportunity to do these things, then they're creating negative outcomes for themselves. So you may rise to the occasion like a lion in a significant relationship, and that can be a turning point for you. And so how that, manifests, or how that develops, who knows? But you may find that in June you grow a backbone. You feel more. It's like the strength card. If you feel stronger. The strength card in the tarot is connected to Leo. And Mars is connected to our drive, So on the 20th, the sun goes into Cancer, and we have a Jupiter retrograde. This is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. This time of great power, the solstice periods, the sun going into a cardinal sign. And so that means the sun is going into this practical area, the 6th house, and Jupiter is in Pisces. So Jupiter is in your 2nd house of earned income. For the moment, Aquarius, it recently left your sign, but now it's in that 2nd house, and it's retrograding. It'll go back into your sign in late July. So Jupiter retrograde in the 2nd house, still positive. There might be a slowing down of 2nd house matters if you've seen an expansion of resources. I don't know if that would slow down, but you might get other opportunities coming your way that you missed the first time around. On the 22nd, Mercury goes direct in Gemini. And there is that 5th house coming to some kind of an understanding about something. If you are a writer, revising your work, but coming to some understanding about what you want to do, how you want to proceed with a certain individual that you have been back in communication with. On the 24th, we have a full moon at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Now, there you go. There's that 12th house. And this is an area that's very mysterious. It has to do with karma. It has to do with the spiritual dimensions, the dream state. This could be a very prophetic time for you, where you have some kind of guidance through your dreams, or just your psychic powers are heightened. And yes, Aquarius is one of the signs that's associated with having heightened intuition in general. And this can help you break a bad habit and just be able to see self-defeating prophecy. So self-defeating patterns. I was getting those two phrases mixed up. I mean, self-fulfilling prophecies too. Being able to see them for what they are and to transcend them, to drop them. They talk about dropping a bad habit. Well, sometimes it's not that easy, is it? If you could just drop it, that would be great. But when you have, especially like a lunar eclipse, which is a powerful full moon in this area, you can do that. Actually, you did have this. I think it was a year ago. So maybe some of you were able to get rid of some bad habits last year. On the 27th, we have Venus going into your opposite sign, Leo. So, Aquarius, maybe there's going to be harmony after all in this area of love, and even with legal matters, some kind of ability to receive money and all of that stuff, and feel like you're resolving something. So yeah, with Venus going into the 7th and having, what was the other thing? Having Mercury, well, having even Jupiter retrograding in the 2nd house. I still think that you might have some kind of good things coming your way. There's Venus in the 7th house can be like, money from a legal decision. Or if you have been fighting with your partner, you might even have like some kind of truce, because Mars in the 7th can, of course, lead to kind of conflict within a primary relationship. So Venus can sweeten things. And then you have the divine lovers both in that 7th house. So, wow. And eventually, so then, yeah, both in the same sign. So, anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there, Aquarius. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, please click on the link below to see what kind of readings I offer. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.